Step into the world of cheating chronicles, where dark love tales unfold, betrayal lurks in every shadow, and hidden secrets whisper through the air. Prepare to plunge into heart-wrenching narratives that unveil the unfiltered and surprising depths of human connections. Prepare yourself for tales that will challenge your perceptions, stir your emotions, and ignite a fire of curiosity about love. It all began with a cup of coffee. Not the hurried, harsh concoction I'd brew at home, but one presented to me with a warm smile, its steam curling upward like a secret vow waiting to be uncovered. 3 years have passed, yet that moment lingers in my mind, haunting me like a shadow that refuses to fade. It rattled the very foundations of my existence, forcing me to confront the truths I had long accepted about who I was. My name is Clara, and this is my tale. A tale of being lost in the shadows, grappling with choices that seem insurmountable, and the relentless journey to reclaim my path. Have you ever found yourself lost in the currents of your own existence? If so, I hope this strikes a chord within you. We invite you to share your thoughts in the comments below. Your voice matters, and we appreciate your engagement in this journey with us. At 45, I found myself entrenched in the corporate grind of Seattle, a city where the relentless rain wrapped around me like a familiar cloak. My days unfolded in a haze of spreadsheets, relentless meetings, and a torrent of emails that stacked up like forgotten letters, each one a silent reminder of the chaos that consumed me. 15 years had passed since I first stepped through those doors, a silent fixture in the office, dependable yet overlooked, blending into the very fabric of the company. Once my job ignited a passion within me, each project unfolding like a thrilling puzzle, where every piece seamlessly fell into place, revealing a bigger picture that captivated my very soul. Yet as time passed, it transformed into an arduous struggle, a relentless boulder I found myself pushing uphill each day. Fatigue enveloped me, not merely in body but in the very essence of my being, as if time itself had eroded a fragment of my soul. Home offered no sanctuary. Blame was a distant thought, lost in the shadows of understanding. His passion for his work burned brightly, and he toiled relentlessly to provide for our family. Yet, amidst the passage of those years, a chasm had formed between us, and we had drifted apart, lost to the tides of time. Our conversations revolved around the relentless cycle of bills, the intricate dance of Sophie's schedule, or the ever-changing moods of the weather. The rain had fallen relentlessly for an entire week, drenching the world in a shroud of gray. "Don't forget your umbrella," he'd remind me, and I'd nod, forcing down the hollow ache that had taken residence in my heart. Once we had been enveloped in love, wandering the shores of Puget Sound, our nights alive with whispered dreams, and a home echoing with laughter. Now he seemed like a ghost haunting my address, and I was lost in the shadows, unsure of how to connect with him. Each dawn I would gaze into the mirror, a question echoing in my mind. Who is this woman staring back at me? Silver threads intertwined with my chestnut locks, while the creases around my eyes deepened, telling tales of time's relentless passage. Once I was a dreamer, an art major in college, pouring my soul onto canvases drenched in vibrant hues, envisioning a life brimming with galleries and boundless creativity. But then I laid my brushes down, opting for the security of a stable job to forge a family instead. Regret had no place in my heart when it came to Sophie. She was my entire world. Yet I found myself questioning where I had lost my own identity in the shadows of our journey. Was I truly Clara the wife? Clara the mother stood at the edge of the dimly lit room, her heart pounding as shadows danced around her. The weight of her responsibilities pressed down like a heavy cloak, and she could feel the tension in the air, thick and suffocating. Every decision she made felt monumental, echoing through the silence like a distant thunderstorm. Clara the one in charge? Where had Clara vanished to, the enigmatic woman? Then Nathan stepped into my world, a sudden gust slicing through the dull haze that had enveloped my existence. At 38, he stepped into our marketing department, a fresh face with a quick laugh that echoed through the office. His eyes, deep and enigmatic, hinted at untold stories waiting to be revealed. He exuded a quiet charm, subtle yet undeniable, like the gentle glow of a fire on a frigid night, beckoning you to draw near. He stepped into our team for a pivotal advertising campaign, and from that very first meeting he captured my attention, not merely for his youth or striking looks, though those were undeniable, but because he truly listened when I spoke. He nodded, his eyes glinting with curiosity, probing deeper with questions that ignited a spark within me, making my ideas feel like precious gems in the vast expanse of conversation. In a world where I felt unseen, that was the lifeline that IT began with an innocence that mirrored the first drops of rain, hinting at the tempest to come. We toiled into the night on the campaign, our bodies bent over laptops in the dim office, encircled by empty takeout boxes and the relentless buzz of fluorescent lights. The long evenings transformed into the pinnacle of my days, each moment brimming with anticipation and wonder. Our conversations began with the weight of work, the pressure of looming deadlines, the intricacies of strategies, and the relentless demands of clients. Then the conversations meandered into the depths of life. He shared tales of his childhood in Portland, the thrill of hiking the winding trails of the Cascades, and a whisper of a dream that once danced in his heart, playing guitar in a band. I recounted tales of Sophie, her exhilarating soccer matches, her laughter that could light up a room, and the days of my college life, where I would lose myself for hours at an easel, immersed in a world of vibrant colors and radiant light. We laughed, and in that moment, a spark ignited within me, awakening a long-dormant sense of vitality I hadn't felt in years. I was more than just Clara the serious manager or Clara the dutiful mom. I was Clara, a woman who still had the power to ignite joy in another's heart. It was a rainy Tuesday when the moment for coffee arrived, cloaked in the soft patter of raindrops against the window, inviting a sense of warmth and comfort. As I struggled to keep my head above the rising tide of deadlines, my eyes aflame from the relentless glare of the screen, Nathan emerged like a beacon of hope, carrying 2 steaming cups from the cafe below. "You looked like you needed this," he said, his voice low and steady as he extended his hand, offering me the small object that could change everything. Why did something so small loom so large in the shadows of my mind? Though the answer eluded me, a deep yearning stirred within, compelling me to seek that sensation once more. As the months unfolded, our bond grew stronger, akin to a river surging with every drop of rain that fell from the sky. Our conversation began with the sterile exchange of work-related texts, a query about a report, a nudge for an upcoming meeting. But beneath the surface, an undercurrent of something more was beginning to stir. I convinced myself it was nothing to worry about. Once I stood at the altar, bound by vows and promises, a ring encircling my finger like a tether to another soul. He understood that truth, yet we remained merely friends. Yet beneath the surface, a haunting truth gnawed at me. I was deceiving my own heart. I was spiraling into the depths of my feelings for him, a rush that was as exhilarating as it was frightening. Yet David remained blissfully unaware. He never did, not once in all those years. He returned home, his lips brushing my cheek in a familiar gesture, before vanishing into his study, a mountain of papers clutched tightly in his hands. We sat at the dinner table, the air thick with unspoken words, as Sophie broke the silence with tales of school, soccer, and her latest obsession, each story a flicker of light in the dimness of our evening. I would gaze at David, a storm of questions swirling in my mind, wondering when we had transformed into this version of ourselves. We had been utterly consumed by love. Evenings on the couch flooded my mind, where his voice wove tales of his students, and spontaneous drives to the countryside beckoned us to gaze at the stars. Yet now he lingered like a specter within our walls, and I was lost in the shadows, desperate to find a way to summon him back. As I lay in bed next to him, my gaze fixed on the ceiling, my mind drifted to Nathan. I could hear his laughter echoing in my thoughts, feel the warmth of his voice wrapping around me, and remember the way he looked at me, as if I were the sole inhabitant of his world. I loathed myself for those dark thoughts that crept in uninvited. Once I held the roles of a devoted wife and a nurturing mother. Conflicted and torn, I found myself ensnared in the web of dual existence, unable to escape the grip of my own reality. Clara moved through the familiar rhythm of her home, stirring pots of simmering dinners, navigating the tense waters of parent-teacher conferences, and donning a mask of forced smiles for David. At work, Clara was a whirlwind of laughter and conversation, each moment charged with electricity, especially when Nathan was close by, making my heart race with anticipation. The weight of my choices pressed heavily on my chest, a relentless reminder that I was treading a perilous road. Yet the thought of retreat was utterly unthinkable. Perhaps I simply chose not to. The longing to be noticed, to be cherished, consumed me. In the heart of the Cascade Mountains, just a few hours' drive from Seattle, a work retreat unfolded, and within its fleeting moments, Nathan revealed something profound that would change everything. Our team arrived at the lodge, a seemingly serene backdrop for what was meant to be a weekend of bonding. Yet an unsettling tension hung in the air, as if this gathering was more of a trial than a retreat, and I couldn't shake the feeling that I was on the brink of a challenge I might not conquer. The lodge lay hidden within a dense forest, embraced by towering pines that whispered secrets in the crisp air. A serene lake stretched before it, reflecting the vast expanse of the sky above, creating a breathtaking tableau that beckoned the soul to explore its depths. The beauty enveloped me, stunning and surreal, yet I felt like an outsider, trapped in a role that had long since slipped from my grasp. Nathan stood there, an enigmatic figure whose very presence wove a tapestry of comfort and danger in the air around him. The first day unfolded with a whirlwind of absurd team exercises, constructing fragile paper towers, unraveling intricate puzzles, while I made a conscious effort to steer clear of Nathan. I threw myself into the tasks at hand, exchanged playful banter with my colleagues, all the while masking the storm brewing beneath the surface. Yet, as the second night descended, a palpable shift enveloped the air. Once dinner had concluded and the others dispersed to their rooms or congregated in the common area, I quietly made my way to the lake. Desperate for solitude, I craved the stillness that would allow me to untangle the storm swirling within my mind. We perched on a weathered wooden bench, the lake glistening like 1,000 diamonds under the sun's embrace. The air was crisp, alive with the gentle caress of water lapping at the shore and the whispering rustle of leaves dancing in the breeze. We began to converse as we always had, but this time it felt different, profound, raw, and unguarded. He shared with me the tale of a long-term relationship that unraveled, driven by his yearning for something deeper, a life infused with purpose beyond the mundane. I bared my soul, revealing the suffocating weight of my marriage, the sleepless nights consumed by the haunting question of whether love still lingered in the shadows. Have you ever sensed that you are merely a spectator in a life that isn't truly yours? I asked, my voice quivering with uncertainty. He gazed at me, his eyes brimming with a profound understanding. You deserve to be happy, he insisted, his voice steady and unwavering, as if the weight of his words could shift the very fabric of her reality. Clara, you need to believe that. Those words crashed over me like a wave, soft yet overwhelming. My heart raced, and in that instant, I yearned to bridge the gap between us, to experience something tangible and profound. As I envisioned his arms enveloping me, his lips brushing against mine, the chaos of the world began to dissolve into nothingness. But then Sophie's face surged into my thoughts, her radiant smile lighting up the darkness, her voice echoing, "Mom." In that moment time stood still and I was paralyzed. I found myself paralyzed, unable to take that crucial step forward. I bore the weight of family responsibilities. I whispered a half-hearted excuse about needing sleep and hurried to my room, my heart pounding in my chest, leaving Nathan standing alone by the lake, shrouded in the encroaching darkness. As I shut the door behind me, I pressed my back against the wall, breathless and trembling. Why did the path of righteousness cut so deep? In the aftermath of the retreat, I found myself grappling with the need to establish boundaries. I distanced myself from Nathan, ensuring our messages remained purely professional, and immersed myself in the warmth of my family. I whisked Sophie away to the movies, crafted elaborate dinners that danced with flavor, and attempted to engage David in conversation, though our exchanges frequently dissolved into an uncomfortable silence. Yet with each effort I made, Nathan's absence loomed larger in my heart. His humor lingered in the air, a ghost of laughter that once filled the room. I craved the warmth of his presence, the comforting embrace that made me believe I truly mattered in this vast world. As I drifted into a reverie, visions of a life unfolded before me. A life where my heart could soar, unshackled by the weight of promises and obligations, where love for him flowed freely, unrestrained and pure. Those thoughts filled me with a deep loathing for who I was. I was neither a cheater nor a liar. Or was I truly? It became impossible to ignore the weight of this burden. In the heat of the office, I unleashed my frustration on colleagues for the smallest of errors. My patience had frayed to a mere thread. Within the confines of my home, a chasm grew between Sophie and me, her vibrant tales met with my indifferent nods, as if I were a ghost haunting the very space we once shared. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow in the room, She turned to me with a concerned gaze and asked, "Mom, are you okay? Something's been off with you lately." Her words struck like a sudden blow, reverberating in the silence. She was acutely aware, yet David remained oblivious. I wrapped my arms around her, whispering that fatigue had settled deep within me, yet deep within I felt the unsettling truth. I was slipping away piece by piece. The moment of truth arrived 6 months after that initial coffee, amidst the shadows of a late-night work session. The office lay in silence, a hollow shell, while the city lights flickered like distant stars in the night sky. Nathan and I were on the brink of finalizing the campaign, our desks a chaotic battlefield strewn with papers and the remnants of countless empty coffee cups. After hours of relentless effort, a surge of triumph enveloped us as we finally reached the end. "We achieved it," Nathan spoke, his smile shining like the sun. As laughter echoed around us, a wave of joy surged through the air, and in that fleeting moment of triumph he pulled me into a warm embrace. The embrace stretched on, his heat enveloping me, our heartbeats syncing in a rhythmic dance. My heart pounded in my chest, a relentless drumbeat warning me that if I didn't step back now, I would plunge into a darkness from which there would be no return. Then my gaze fell upon Sophie's photo resting on my desk, her gap-toothed grin radiating joy, her muddy soccer uniform a testament to her spirited play. And reality shattered like glass. I recoiled, my voice trembling with uncertainty. "Nathan, we can't," I breathed, my voice barely a whisper. His gaze locked onto mine, a storm of regret and understanding swirling in his expression. "I know," he murmured, his voice barely above a whisper. "I'm sorry, Clara. I never intended to complicate things." As he stepped out of the room, an oppressive silence enveloped the space, heavy and suffocating. I collapsed into my chair, my hands shielding my face as tears streamed down. I wept, not for Nathan, but for the depths to which I had allowed this to spiral. My heart had drifted into uncharted territory, and now I was desperate to navigate my way home. That night, as I stepped through the door, my gaze fell upon David, and I truly saw him for the first time. At the dining table, he sat surrounded by a sea of papers, the weight of each assignment pressing down on him. His glasses, barely clinging to the bridge of his nose, threatened to slide off as he leaned closer, lost in the labyrinth of red ink and scribbled notes. He was far from perfect, distant, often lost in his own world and at times thoughtless. Yet, he was the man who had weathered the storms with me, who had crafted a life alongside me, and who had gifted me the light of our daughter, Sophie. Our marriage had frayed at the edges, but deep within, I unearthed a flicker of love for him, hidden beneath the weight of exhaustion and years of neglect. "Can we begin anew?" Uncertainty loomed over me, yet the urge to take that leap was undeniable. The following day, I summoned Nathan to the cafe where our story first unfolded. The rain lashed against the window, echoing the tumult of that fateful first day. I selected a secluded corner, where the faint glow from the window draped shadows across the table, creating an atmosphere thick with mystery. As soon as he stepped through the door, I sprang into action. "Nathan, I can't keep doing this," I declared, my voice unwavering even as a deep ache throbbed in my chest. "My family is my world, and I must mend the fractures that threaten to tear us apart. I apologize if my actions gave you the wrong impression." He gazed at me, a mix of sorrow and warmth flickering in his eyes. "You're making the right choice," he whispered, his voice laced with conviction. "Clara, my respect for you runs deep, unwavering and eternal. All I desire is for your happiness to shine brightly." We separated with a firm handshake, not a warm embrace, and I stepped into the downpour, allowing the rain to envelop me like a purifying wave. That choice did not pave a smooth path ahead. I stood at the precipice, ready to confront the shadows of my own soul and the fragile threads of my marriage. As the night deepened and Sophie drifted into slumber, I found myself seated across from David, the air thick with unspoken words. "We need to talk," I said, my voice quivering with urgency. His eyes widened in disbelief, yet he gave a reluctant nod. I opened up to him about the deep ache of my loneliness, the countless years spent feeling like a ghost in my own life. With a heavy heart, I confessed that my feelings had shifted, that I had found my heart drawn to someone else. Not the specifics, but enough to reveal the truth. Silence enveloped him, stretching into an eternity, and in that stillness, the pain in his eyes spoke volumes. "I'm sorry," he said at last, his voice heavy with unspoken regret. I had no idea just how dire the situation truly was. I believed I was sacrificing everything for our family. Yet in the shadows of my choices, I abandoned you. That apology cracked open a door we had tightly sealed for years, leading us into the tumultuous waters of marriage counseling, where nothing was straightforward. In those sessions, we clashed fiercely, unearthing long-buried resentments that had festered in the shadows for years. There were moments when despair clawed at my heart, whispering that we had drifted too far into the abyss to ever be saved. Yet, amidst the shadows, there were moments when laughter erupted, as we reminisced about the early days of our love, unearthing glimmers of hope that flickered like distant stars. David transformed. He returned home sooner than usual, his eyes sparkling with curiosity as he inquired about my day. Then, with a hint of excitement, he proposed a date night, an idea that felt like a distant memory, something we hadn't shared in years. I transformed as well, discovering the power of expressing my emotions rather than keeping them locked away. Sophie observed, her smiles radiating with newfound brilliance, and one day she ventured, "You and Dad seem happier now, don't you?" Those words welled up tears in my eyes, a poignant reminder that every step taken was worth the struggle. I sought a transfer to another team, creating a chasm between Nathan and myself. The pain was sharp, a searing reminder of the cost, but it was a sacrifice that had to be made. With fervor, I plunged into new projects, unearthing the passion that had long been buried within me. Once more, I picked up the brush, beginning with delicate sketches that whispered of creativity. As my confidence grew, I transitioned to larger canvases, each stroke breathing life into our home, transforming it into a vibrant tapestry of color. With every brushstroke, I felt as though I was piecing together fragments of my soul, the Clara I had lost in the shadows of the past 3 years. Here I stand, bound by vows, navigating the ever-unfolding journey of discovery. David and I may not be flawless, but our efforts bind us together, a testament to the undeniable connection we share. He stirred something deep within me, a flicker of life I believed was lost forever. Yet I find myself haunted by the choices I almost embraced, the fleeting moments when my heart dared to wander. What revelations awaited me? Love transcends mere emotion. It is a deliberate choice, a vow that must be reaffirmed with each dawn. To flee from pain is to drift away from the very essence of what truly matters. It is never too late to confront your own reflection, to heal the fractures within, and to embrace your family and your authentic self. In the depths of your solitude, when shadows loom and the weight of invisibility presses down, know this: you are not alone. Your struggles resonate with countless others, echoing in the silence of shared experience. Reach out to someone, a friend, a family member, or a counselor. Let their presence guide you through the shadows. Refuse to allow any single moment to shape your identity. There's always a path to begin anew, and you are worthy of that opportunity. I appreciate you taking the time to hear my tale. Though it was a struggle to reveal, I hold on to the hope that it might illuminate the path for someone in darkness. If this resonated with you, I invite you to like, share, or leave a comment below. What strategies have you employed to navigate through challenging moments? Your stories hold immense significance. Let's dive deeper into this discussion. If you're just joining us, be sure to subscribe for captivating tales that delve into the depths of life, love, and the journey of self-discovery. Until we meet again in the next video, stay strong and keep in mind that even amidst the darkest storms, your light can still shine through.